Hello, everybody. I am Omega Recon Gaming, and welcome to my top 5 games of the year. 2023, what a year. Did anything really happen this year? I mean, for me, it was a very tough year. I lost people, and many other things. It was a very hard year. A lot that I can't go into. However, games happened this year, if you want to call them that. I'm being, but honestly, there were so many mid games and bad games this year. Like, I was looking through my list and I'm like, oh god, that did come out this year. Oh, ugh. And it just like and they become like flashes into my mind of me playing them. I'm like literally Forspoken was on the list, and I'm like, did that come out this year? And I sat there just like staring blankly, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, it did. Wow, that's pretty bad. So, by the way, Forspoken's not on this list. However, this list will be a first. I'm almost positive. This year was so slim pickings for games that I had to include, for the first time ever, a 6 out of 10. That's how bad this year was. So, and there were a lot of 6 out of 10s if you have watched my videos this year. So it was hard to narrow it down, and you know what? I could go back and forth between this pick. I could swap it out with something else. I even actually sat down and thought about, like, I wanted to eliminate a game, and originally Boruto was going to make it because it was a 7 out of 10, and then I sat down and I really thought about it. I watched the video and I'm like. And I sat and I thought, and I was like, I don't really like this. I mean, it's okay. It's passable. But it pisses me off so much that I think I need to... I was so nice at the point, and I didn't think to dock a point at the time. But I think I physically have to. So it was a 7 out of 10, but I'm dropping it to a 6 out of 10. Because of how angry I was. And how angry I still am. You know... It's such a cookie cutter effort that it shouldn't, even break my good scale. It should be at a 6. And that's just barely in the, okay, I could play that, but I won't be happy. So, speaking of games I've played, but I won't be happy, this is going to give me a lot of hate, but Spider-Man 2 is our number 5 choice. Now, listen. There are things I did like about the game. I did like parts of the story. The graphics were amazing. And the symbiote stuff was really awesome. I loved it. It was so cool. I loved the stuff with Harry. I loved, the stuff they did with MJ, non-mission related, non-stealth mission related, because those were god-fucking awful. Don't put more stealth missions with Mary Jane. How many times we gotta tell that you, Insomniac? Stop it. She can still be in the story, but she doesn't need the stealth be in the... Like, you don't need to force her into the game. She can just be in the background. She could be a background character, and nobody will be like, I want to play a mission. No, nobody's saying that. Give her powers if you want her to be in the game. I don't care. Give her powers. But if she's not going to have powers, don't let her. You have 2 people who have powers. 2 of them, compared to each game where you only had 1. I mean, technically, in Miles' game, Peter has powers, but he's not there. So, in this game, you have 2 people, and 3 if you count Harry. So let's talk about my negatives. I did like one more positive. I did like the additions to traversal and the fast travel points. I mean, you could fast travel before, but like physically fast travel to any point on the map. I really didn't talk about it in, my playthrough because, I just like swinging to places. That's just me. But yeah, the big detractions were the Mary Jane Awful Stealth sections, and there were 3 of them. So no, that pisses me off to a point where I want to take off a point, and I did take off a point for that because of how much they pissed me off. Anything with non-symbiote abilities are lame. They're just lame. Miles's abilities are lame, and freaking Peter's ability. Oh god, Peter's abilities are so boring, and his gadgets are boring compared to the first game. Why to get rid of the web bomb? Why? It was such a good gadget. Makes no sense. I almost never use the gadgets, unless I felt like I had to. But like I never wanted to use them. I was like, I figure I might as well. But and the glitches. Oh god, the fucking glitches. How many times did I have to restart a mission because it didn't load properly and the prompt to move to the next section didn't go off, or I'd hit a boss and it didn't work, or I'd or god, or like it would happen during story, like when a prompt to talk to somebody wouldn't show up, or oh my god, or it turned into a fucking a box. I turned into little tiny box Spider-Man. And then there's not even talking about how many times I just wanted to land on a platform and I just couldn't. I tried so many times and it was never, ever consistent. It was infuriating. Point being that Spider-Man 2 is a very flawed game. Oh, I didn't even talk about Kraven. I hated him. He shouldn't have been in the game. They should have just been Venom the whole time. It would have been a shorter game, but I really didn't care. The game could have been shorter and it just been Venom, and it would have been fine. It did not need Kraven. Kraven added nothing to the story. Literally nothing. I was more afraid of the other villains and, like, the Sandman than I was of Kraven. When he stabbed Peter, you could check my reaction. My reaction, well, you couldn't see it, but my vocal reaction was, oh. It felt like, especially because it happened during a glitch where my Spider-Man was invisible during a cutscene. How do you let that happen? How do you not check all the cutscenes to make sure they work? How do you not go through painstakingly and say, how does that not come up in testing? Seriously, this is a AAA game. This is a Sony exclusive game. How do you not painstakingly check through? Like, I get it if some things go through, but this had so many bugs compared to the first game. The first game, I barely had any bugs at all. I maybe had a bug here, but this game was just littered with them. This is on a more powerful console. I would think that would make that easier. And you didn't have to completely rebuild the whole entire city. Parts of it, yeah, but You didn't need to like completely deconstruct, the whole city. Anyway. And there was like a minor thing where Peter stops being Spider-Man, and I don't really like it. I don't really feel like he needs to stop being Spider-Man. He could be it less and let Miles take over it more, but I think it's selfish of him to give up being Spider-Man when he has these powers. It'd be different if he lost his powers. Like the Venom suit, by losing the Venom suit, he would lose his powers. That's fine. If that would have been the thing that happened, I go, okay, he doesn't want to be Spider-Man. He can't be Spider-Man anymore. That's fine. It's done. Now it's Miles' turn. But him just having his powers, just deciding to quit when he's still pretty young, nobody would ever do that. Like, I get it. He wants to make a sacrifice for Mary Jane, but like, there's a point, my guy. You got powers that nobody else does. I get it. At the same time, it also makes you a target. But like, I would go up to S.H.I.E.L.D. and be like, hey, S.H.I.E.L.D., pay me. And then, boom, I have an income. That way, I could literally... he could literally help keep Mary Jane afloat while she's in between ventures. Anyway. So that's that. So, another controversial pick. Mortal Kombat 1 for number 4. A 7 out of 10. So, we are now at the cutoff, my normal cutoff range, where I go, okay, I'll try it. A game. So, Mortal Kombat 1, it had a really good story. I really enjoyed it. The game looked great. The soundtrack was, it was okay. But it felt like a very sandpapered, Mortal Kombat 11. Like, a downgrade in every way. I know the other game had, microtransactions and, But overall, I don't know. I feel like without the microtransactions, maybe they just didn't try as hard. Like, they tried for the story. Don't get me wrong. They tried for the... But, like, I don't understand why the comboed characters are not full characters on them. Like, why isn't Stryker a full character? He was in the first game. And you can't even give me... Well, a human won't work. Bro, do you know how many fucking humans there are in Mortal Kombat? Kano is there, and all he has is a fucking laser eye. And then there's the cages, which at this point, they don't have their powers. So... why no Stryker? And why no Cyrax? And no, I'm blanking on his name. Sector. Why neither of them? If you're gonna make them as assists in their robot form, which, why? They didn't even do that yet. It's just so frustrating. It's like they don't think. It's ironic because they have Omni-Man in the game. It's just frustrating, It's just, in my opinion, it lost what made the last game just so great. It's frustrating. And I hope they don't put microtransactions in it, but knowing them, they will. I just hope Mortal Kombat 2, it just keeps a good story and it adds a good cast amount of people in there. Maybe I'll pick up Mortal Kombat 1 once the all the DLC has dropped and, like, you know, it's on sale. That's probably the best time to grab it. Like what I did for the PC. Also, did you know that Mortal Kombat 11 is not compatible with the Steam Deck? Yeah. Pretty weird, ain't it? But Mortal Kombat 1 is. Anyway, on to number 3. So this is where we start to get into the really good games. Okay? Here's where we would hit a normal echelon of where my list would go. So, at number 3, a very strong Jedi Survivor. This game, my opinions are very complicated. It's an excellent game and a great sequel. It improves on everything in the first game. It improves on the combat, the graphics, the story, the characters. I love it all. It even improves in a thing where where everybody's complaints of, I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning of the stage just to get to the ship. Just let me fast travel like every other game does. And they finally listened. Also, they added a lot more, which... They also filled the world with... I mean, filled. They let you... Also, this game lets you start off with your abilities from the previous game, which is... Do you know how many games or sequels don't do that? Where, oh, you lost your abilities because... And then they find a reason or whatever. It's stupid. It's really dumb. But this game doesn't do that. This game says, no, you have all your abilities from the first game. You can, you know, what do they call those? Whatever. Where he holds them like katanas, like kind of like what Ahsoka uses. Actually, exactly what Ahsoka uses. But the point is that it has there's different types of... There's more lightsaber combinations now. There's the fucking cross guard, which it was so much fun to use. There was pistol with lightsaber, yeah. There was... I'm blanking. There was one more. Was there one more? It's been a while. Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, it's gonna kill me later when I go, oh, right, that was that one. But regardless of that fact, I liked a lot of the, you know, the deeper into story bits, like Cal going deeper into the dark side. You know, that was cool. And they let you keep it. It's not just a thing you use in the story and then you never use it again. You can use it in free roam, which is awesome. They still aren't letting you have the red lightsaber unless you play the game through New Game Plus. I mean, I guess it's to give you a reason to play the story again, but it's so annoying. Stop doing that. Just let us have it. If we want to play the game again, we can do it. The perk system was very helpful. I actually really enjoyed it. I found the game's challenge very fun, and the puzzles were interesting. I didn't love them all, but it was fine. So, there were some problems. Let's get into those. So, the frame rate problems, the constant crashing were very annoying. I do not know if they have fixed them. But this is based off of my feelings at launch. Regardless if it's been patched, regardless if it's been changed, the fact that at launch it was broken, it should not have been broken at launch. It should have been a polished release at launch. That is the standard. That is what we expect. I don't cut breaks for companies who fix their problems later. I'm happy if they do fix it, because some companies just say, fuck it, Activision, and just move on. Still mad. Anyway. Okay. By the way, small tangent. Did you know there's DLC for Forspoken? What? Did people really think that people were gonna love that game? I mean, really? That's just delusional. I mean, complete delusion. Anyway. So, yeah, and there were level design issues. Like, sometimes I would jump and I would not get on the platform, and it would be really frustrating. And sometimes it would be sometimes they had it where it would be a while before I could get to a checkpoint. Like, sometimes it would be doing good. Okay, good, there's a checkpoint here. And then there'd be points where, oh my god, I need a checkpoint so bad. Where is it? And then there also is times where I didn't know where something sometimes where something is, or, or like the interface wouldn't, would give me problems. But for the most part, it was a very fun and satisfying game, and I enjoyed it, and that's why it has an 8 out of 10, and is a 3 on the list. So, with that out of the way, let's bring it up to number 2. Now, so, when a few years ago, when the original, you know what, I'm just going to reveal the before I go into the previous one. Number 2 is this. Yes, it is The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. So, this game is such an improvement of the first game. It's crazy. It's wow. So, the story, amazing. Like, the story in the first game was okay. It was good. But not like this. This was amazing. I liked the voice acting. I liked the characters. I liked the gameplay. I liked the fusing. Oh, God, the fusing. Oh, the fusing was so good. And like, I liked going up through... I love the different ways I could traverse. I liked combining things. I liked making vehicles like that could fly, that could go on water, that could just do all kinds of crazy stuff. And it was so much fun to just mess around in the world. Literally, I could spend hours just fucking around, and I did. I filled my inventory with swords and fused weapon parts, and just so much stuff. I collected so much. I did so much grinding of parts and whatnot, and I didn't even get all the hearts. I mean, I got a lot of them, but like I had I didn't do all the side quests, but I did a good portion of them. I had a good time, a very, very good time. The only big problem is that game has it's a bit too hard in puzzle solving. Like, I struggled a bit where at the point I would need guides to do some of the puzzles, because I go, how the hell do I solve this? And I would just go, all right, I'm looking this up. And then I see how it's done, and I go, How would I even have thought of that? Okay. But then there were a lot of puzzles where I'd look it up and I go, duh. Or I'd look it up and go, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't think of that. And then for a puzzle later, I'd go, oh, I could use that here as well. And then I would build off of that. And, that's cool. I also like the more availability of Octoroks, where I could throw my weapon into them and they would give me back a what do you call it? A refurbished weapon. I don't like the fact that it would roll, different things. Like, hey, did you want hardiness on it? Or more indestructibility? No, you got throwing ability. You can throw it farther. Yay. I would always just not use the weapon until I would just be able to re-roll it as a, Some weapons you could not refresh, which is annoying. But then you could buy them later with, like, the little ghost things. I forget what they're called. I liked the underground section and the above ground sections, or the in the sky sections, but the above ground sections were really interesting, especially because that's where you get the harder enemies. That's where you get, you got to be more creative. That's where you get a lot of gear and the clean weapons, which I loved the clean weapons. So much so that I would farm the clean royal swords and higher knight swords and, and just, keep putting my best stuff on them and pretty much exclusively use that. And the Hyrian's shield is, like, really durable. Like, it was durable in the first game, but God, I didn't break it once. Like, I think I only had to repair it, like, 1 or 2 times at max. And I used, like, and you could, like, equip it with, like, a gem. Like, I would equip mine with freeze, which was very fun. Which enemy tried to attack? Repel freeze! Very useful. Just equip a sapphire to that and boom, you're golden. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. So, and a lot of things were hidden too well. Like, I would have to, like, if I'm searching for an armor piece and I go, where the hell is, okay, I give up. Where the hell is this thing? And then I look it up in a guide and I go, how would anybody think of that? Just a lot of moments like that, and it's frustrating. But overall, it's a very solid game. It has its few detractions. I love the abilities and everything, but, like, it's the puzzle solving is probably its weakest and its strength. It's like a double-edged sword. It's funny because you can fuse 2 swords. Anyway, so yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. Funny enough, one of the best games of the year, and was the front runner for a while. Until this. So, God, I cannot believe that this is my game of the year. Because there was plenty of games like Modern Warfare 3 I was really excited for. I mean, I didn't think that was going to be game of the year. It was I want to say good, but the multiplayer was good, and the story was so bad. It's so frustrating. And then you had shit like the Final Fantasy 16, which the story was good, and it looks good, and I like the characters, but the gameplay is so boring. It's so boring. Like, people complain about 15's gameplay, but at least 15 tried. at least it had like variety and stuff you could, weapons you could use. It's just swords. It's just swords. And 16, is that fun? With Final Fantasy VII, you could switch between Barret and Tifa and Aerith. And that was good because it would give you more variety. And in other Final Fantasy games, you could switch between multiple weapons. But this one was like, swords? But can I have like a lance? Or can I have like a gun? Or can I have like a shield? No. Just swords and the one ability, like the fire or whatever one you've absorbed from an enemy. Which... It really didn't gel with me. So anyway, so it's funny because Forspoken, I played three Square Enix games this year. One of them was Forspoken, which one of them was Final Fantasy 16, which was, and then there was Octopath Traveler 2. And I know what you're gonna say. I get it. I didn't finish. I didn't beat the final boss. But you know what? The game is so good that it's like a special final boss that you get with all the characters and getting all their stuff. And it was so hard that at the time I just didn't have the time to beat it. I will eventually go back and beat it, but the story is basically over by that point, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the story, I enjoy literally everything. The graphics, the music, just everything was great. The one thing I didn't like is that once I play it once, I don't know if I would ever replay it again. And that unfortunately knocks it's 1 point off, making it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I know. I've spent so much time talking about the other games because, they were so divisive. This game was just an extremely solid game. I had a lot of high points while I played it. I had some frustrating points, but overall, the high points just overwhelmed it, and it was just a very solid game. It's kind of funny, most of the good games are at the beginning of the year. I mean, like the ones at the top 3. And then after that, there wasn't a good game until like Mortal Kombat 1. So I know I probably pissed a lot of people off with these, but I'm just as surprised as you at my list. I wanted a lot of these games to be better. I really did. Nobody asked for a bad game, so when they get it, it's very disappointing. But I can only be honest with my opinion. So this is my top 5. I know you disagree, but tell me, what's your top 5 games? Do you agree with my list? You're awesome if you do, but you probably don't. But that's okay. I'm open to all opinions. I mean, they may be wrong. But thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.